Hi, Taurus. So this is going to be your mid-June reading, so now to the end of the month, possibly extended beyond that. You know, whenever you see this video, I feel like this is kind of going to be one of those, not necessarily timeless, but it feels like this energy progresses through the summer, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. So I just kind of want to relay what's been coming through, what the messages are. Not necessarily a typical read like I normally do. I've definitely been feeling the call to kind of expand and do things a little bit differently. And a few months ago I did this channeled reading, and I really connected to that. So I'm just kind of going to let it flow. So definitely let me know in the comments how you like this style. I'm always trying to do different things, different spreads, different ways of reading. You know, I'm somebody that doesn't prescribe to necessarily exact literal translations of the tarot. I feel like it's a doorway to open up your intuition, this ability to create stories in your head, exercise that pineal gland, you know, all of that stuff. It's just a tool. So I've done this for a long time, and you know, it's kind of at the point where I want to expand. So let me know if you're receptive. I'm always curious about feedback, good or bad, it doesn't matter to me. So anyways, the messages with Taurus this month are big. I know I did a reading for you guys at the beginning of the month, and I was talking about the squeeze, you know, this uncomfortable energy kind of, I think I gave the analogy of giving birth. You know, but that's exactly where I feel like a lot of people, especially people that come to the watch these videos, because not necessarily for, you know, I always find myself kind of navigating advice or soliciting advice when I'm really in a position of needing it. Otherwise, I tend to really just trust myself. But I feel like this month, you know, I've had the need to reach out to one of my friends for a reading. I haven't yet, but you probably know who you are. But yeah, I feel this push, this squeeze, this movement through kind of this passage point. And I'm being drawn to talk about the Cancer totally eclipse that's happening. There's also this, I think they're calling it the strawberry moon or pink moon, I'm not sure, full moon, that's happening on the 17th. So from the 17th to I think it's July 2nd, going through Gemini and into Cancer season, I feel like there's this uncomfortable inner turmoil. I feel very calm on the surface, but inside it's like I want to rage a little bit, because I feel like we're still on this preface of huge change. Tauruses are really being called to kind of take responsibility for their life, and actually, because it's in our nature to be, you know, if we're talking about the tarot, to be the Empress, which naturally our inclination is to allow things to just come to us. That's kind of our genius. We allow, we don't attach too much, we don't actually, well, you know, there's high and low vibration, but we don't, what's the word? It feels like there's just this necessity of allowing this month that's really uncomfortable. And we have to kind of take responsibility in our hands and make the changes. So I feel like a lot of question marks about how exactly this is going to unfold, and feeling like a little bit of all of the things going on are out of our hands. I feel like it's almost this uncomfortableness with not knowing exactly how or what to do, but knowing something needs to be done. That makes sense. So inevitably, with this energy that's just kind of like, feels like fire energy burning within, and it's like, how do I extinguish this and make everything feel level and grounded again? It's almost like this and it's showing up because I did pull a few cards before I started the reading. You know, this summer is a time for things to unfold themselves, yes, but also take things into our own hands. So there's this balance of, you know, things are inevitably going to happen. I feel like there's a lot of things that are kind of written in the stars to change, to release, to go. And it feels like things have come in to teach us. And I want to specifically point to, you know, singles or people dealing with their exes, because I feel this in and out energy. And it's part of the fire energy I'm feeling within. So somebody coming in to like mess with your emotions. I know we're also on the precipice of Mercury retrograde, which is happening next month. I already feel the shadow phase here. I already feel the lessons of what we need to release coming in. So I want to say, allow. I don't like to tell people what to do. I kind of like to provide what the energy is surrounding this, but it feels like whoever this is or whatever this energy is that's bringing up this old junk, this old feelings of possibly love, but with this person, to me, it feels like a strong no, a big no. It feels like there is the old clashing, there's the old issues coming up, there's the old stuff, it's just coming up to release, so allow it. Anyways, if you're dealing with an ex, I want to say, let that go. It doesn't feel good to me. It feels like it's almost like a pause, like a distraction, like a roadblock, and it's like, have you learned this? And do you still feel this feel? And I feel like a lot of you do. Like it feels like it brings up something about this person. Maybe you even just come across them online or something like that. It's like, ugh. But there's still that love there, because I feel, you know, with Tauruses, we have a hard time letting go. Anyways, I'm not going to harp on this too long, but if this is applying to you and you can already feel it, let it go. This summer, it feels like there is a lot of healing going on, a lot of like recalibration, balancing out. I feel like it's a time to really do things you enjoy, to get out and enjoy like activities. I want to even say like exercise. So if you're feeling that inner turmoil, there needs to be an outlet, because it is just not helpful sitting at home. I also feel like insomnia, not being able to sleep, especially late night. I feel like wheels turning. I'm getting the visual of a wolf howling at the moon. It's like there's no outlet. So strongly exercise, some sort of outlet, nature, that feels really strong. For those singles that have not found a partner, I feel like some of you actually are in quite stable, healthy relationships. For those of you that are single or thinking about leaving somebody, you know, I recently posted something to Instagram a little while ago, and it's been coming up in just a few of my readings, not a lot. But it was this message of, if it's not a loud yes, it's a no. So, you know, if you're having questions about a person, or, you know, if this is the right thing, I feel like now is the time to step back and really like just observe this period. You know, do lots of fun things. That's kind of, you know, showing up. But I feel like once we get past July and into August, I don't know what's going on in August, but I feel lots of like moving through fear and actually making a jump into something. So there might be some sort of movement or move or starting something new. Something about August. It also feels really positive for relationships And I want to specifically say relationships that last a long time. So if you've been single for a long time and you've just been kind of giving up or feeling hopeless, or the right one hasn't come around, or if the right one has come around, I don't have the, that taking that energy by my hand, because I usually allow it to come to me. This is the energy of taking leaps, taking risks, saying what you mean. It feels like it's a time to be very transparent with yourself and with others. And it feels like finding your voice also is involved in this somehow. People from your past, I want to say, I strongly don't feel like there's a need to revisit any sort of aspect of that, especially if they're dredging up stuff, because I feel the trigger. I feel the trigger that somebody else is bringing on to you. This can manifest in many ways. It doesn't necessarily need to be an ex, but it feels like, if you believe everything happens for a reason, it's a blessing to release something, to allow space for something new. This feels really big, though. Like, I feel really big endings and really big new beginnings. And it can just be a change of perspective. Your first card that I pulled, I only pulled a few, was the Sun card. So it's really pointing to the summer. And it's also pointing to that idea of, the sun to me represents, illumination. So illumination with the sun, yes, it brings lightness to everything, but it also kind of shows, the darkness. It sheds light on it. It's not all about roses and sunflowers. It's also about illuminating the things that were in the dark. And that's the very first card I pulled for you. So I feel like a lot of realizations, a lot of, I feel like you can really see through people. So like the way they act, the way they present themselves, the way they show even like their insecurities, I feel like a really thin filter. I feel very intuitive. Like when I see somebody, it feels like I can really see through them. You're right. I feel like I want to say you're right. It's also bringing me back to this, I don't know why it's bringing me to this. It's showing me my college years. So I'm looking at the friends. It's showing me the friends I had in college, and I always brought in these people that were kind of opposite to me. So really, wore their heart on their sleeve, said what they meant, really open, honest, truthful. Not that I wasn't that, but I was very much reserved, quiet, wasn't like this at all. I really enjoyed being around these people, and I was always like, I wish I was a little bit more like you. I wish I could just blurt it out. I wish I could. And I feel like this is kind of coming into a time where you're stepping up and stepping into your power. Because, with the Taurus energy for the next few years, there's going to be, I feel like I'm going to be talking to you guys for a while. Taurus has been my biggest supporter on this channel. And I feel like that's going to continue this next 7 years, not because it's, there's going to be a need with lows, but it feels like there's like these highs, and it's like readjusting to this new level of, is this really too good to be true? And yeah, there will be a few low points, but I feel like Taurus is really stepping up and taking responsibility for this new energy that Uranus brought in with it going into Taurus. I feel new families being formed. I'm being pointed to August too. Not saying that you could be getting pregnant then, but it feels like more like partnerships joining, and that's the beginning of the stages, especially if you're single. Likewise, if you're trying to manifest a family. I feel, this month in particular, it keeps bringing me to singles. Sorry, guys, if you're in a relationship. But it keeps bringing me to this, evening out. So if you've been feeling extraordinarily alone and in your own thoughts and in your own head, I don't feel July is the month, but again, I'm being brought to August, September, October. These 3 months feel awesome to me. They feel really good. But I feel like you're in the preparation phase of releasing the stuff to allow the space. I also feel that kind of with couples as well. So with couples, I don't feel negative energy whatsoever. If you need to leave somebody, I feel like that's already kind of been a conclusion that's come to. It's not happening right now. It feels like you've either already left and coming to, like realizations why this person was taken from you because they couldn't meet you. And a level of acceptance. Not to sound out there, I feel like a lot of this was guided by ancestors. Even too, also if you're single, I feel like some things that had promise or potential didn't quite work out, and they had a part in it as well. It feels like you would have settled for, and it's showing me like a swing set with like one of those old like 80s swing sets being shown to me that are metal. They have like the two swings and the slide, and one of the legs is off, so it was like not stable enough. It's not everything and more. And the person that you're bringing in, gosh, I'm sorry if you guys are already coupled. It feels like if you're already coupled, this was brought in, and it feels like you're already there. I feel like I'm talking to the later Tauruses, but it could be all. It feels like later, more born towards Gemini. What you're bringing in is better than you could have even written a list for, and it feels like they're not your typical type. It feels like they're very different. And it feels like, the person, I want to say, there are similar values that you really, really work well. This could be another earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. A Sagittarius, we have, I don't know why that sign keeps coming on. This can be like something you're leaving. Some of you, this could be the person. But if it's not an earth sign, this is what I feel. Something about them and their solid nature. It feels like they're very grounded, reliable. And again, it's bringing me back to that feeling of home, that feeling of, despite, whatever storms in life, whatever ups and downs, it's like they're just solid. And I feel like there's a deep, deep appreciation for that type of loyalty, because that type of person, you just don't find them nowadays. And I really, not that dating isn't hard enough, but I'm swayed away from online dating a little bit. I'm being more drawn to, people that enjoy the same stuff as you, the same type of ideology, philosophy, outdoor activities. So I don't know if this can manifest in a multitude of ways, book club. I don't know if people do that anymore. Meetup.com, they have lots of events, with like-minded people. I feel like this person is just, when they come, they're just there. It's like one day you're somebody else, and the next day everything changes. There's a lot of healing going on throughout the summer and into the next few months into the fall, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. The next 4 months feel very transformative. And I want to go into work. So work for Tauruses. If you work for somebody, I feel like there is more money coming in, but I want to say, really time for you to step up and step out a little bit. And this can manifest in, again, a multitude of ways. But it feels like a lot of you have the talent and the ability and the mastery to kind of have your own thing going on. This can manifest earlier or later in this 7-year cycle, but it feels like at the end, a lot of you are going to be your own entrepreneurs, your own business owners, in control of your entire life. So something feels like right now, the reason I'm bringing it up right now, it feels like there's an interest. And with Taurus, I also feel travel. So I don't know if this is something you can work from home and travel, or, some of you, not everybody wants to travel, but something that it feels like it opens up freedom. I feel like now's the time to really cultivate the vision of what you want. And I've been saying this for a while, but I truly feel like this has been on your mind. You've been feeling it, the squeeze, the knowing that you've needed to make changes, advancements, growth. And it feels like, I want to say it could be being dulled by, being online too much. Something feels like there's distractions. It could come in again in the form of a person, like an ex. It feels like there is this distraction right now into the beginning of next month. So I want to say, notice it, allow it. I want to say, take people at their actions, less so their words. Because again, I'm seeing this very transparent energy between you and other people. Your vision is very clear. Your intuition is spot on. Let me pull, I'm feeling pulled. I haven't used this deck in a while. This is the Vision Quest Tarot. Let's see what messages come up. What additional messages would be helpful for Taurus? What additional messages would be helpful for Taurus? What additional messages would be helpful for Taurus? I like the bottom of the deck. I always get frustrated when I see the Hermit card. But, the Hermit card is about isolation, being very cautious about who you let into your energy. Again, the Hermit is a very, observational being. He goes through this dark phase of life, period, to kind of gain the spiritual wisdom about what's truly important. So if you're trying to manifest something now, it feels like it's a result of all of this inner work. And the small medicine wheel is the Wheel of Fortune. So this is about a change for better fortune, better energy. When I see this card, it symbolizes the end of a cycle, end of a karmic cycle. You've learned this lesson. You've gone through and learned what you've needed to learn. But let's read this Hermit card. If I can find it. My God. Where is it? Okay. It says meditation, incubation time, silence, retreat, solitude, disengaging, self-remembering, contemplation. The inner message, an important break is in the offing. A break from all activities. Pay attention to your inner life. That is your path right now. Your energy wants to turn inward, not rush outside. Let it. Don't fight your need for quietness. Intuit what you can do for yourself. What kind of relaxation or meditation helps you most. Those who truly love you will understand and grant you the space you require. Genuine answers to your questions arise from this inner resting place, all by themselves. So you give your mind a break and listen to your inner beingness. It's time to disengage. Say goodbye to the hustle and bustle for a while. Turn all your attention to the inner world. It's not selfish to take some time for yourself, just the opposite. It's a time for intelligent and compassionate things to do for everyone concerned. When you feel good, you are emanating positive, harmonious vibrations, but in order to truly feel good, you must learn to occasionally retreat from everything and let yourself be replenished in solitude. Heed the rhythms of your life force. Welcome the pauses that renew your strength. Only those who have more than enough can be generous and give it all away. The moment has come to relax so completely that all tensions dissolve. Once the inner lake becomes still, you can see through the deepest ground. It feels like this is a continuation of your energy from the past few readings. This is about a time for gaining clarity, not rushing into anything, not making any rash decisions. Again, I'm getting that not being distracted too much by online activity. So if that's really hitting for you, I don't know, that's come up twice. When I feel this card, especially paired with the small medicine wheel, which is about transformation, change, end of a cycle, beginning of a new cycle for better luck or fortune, there's this stillness, this need for meditation to really cultivate this vision. Why are we paused? Why do we feel this, this squeeze that I talked about at the beginning of the month, and really just leaning into it, leaning into that uncomfortable energy. And it feels like what's gained from this is the confidence and, that it's kind of like the opposite again of the Empress to like really step up and kind of take action. Say what you mean what you say, let your actions follow up and not be so passive, I guess, because I do feel like this is a time to really take risks. You guys have really gone through the Tower moment at the beginning of this year. Lots of things kind of crashed down and left and kind of opened up the space, and it feels like it's not for nothing. So whatever left feels like it was necessary for the new life that's coming in. Thank you for whatever left. It feels like it could be, I don't want to go into that. I think you'll know what it was. But it's like they don't, it's something, everything's meant to be. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed this reading. It's always a pleasure to read for you, Taurus, and I'll be back soon with a love reading. Stay grounded, stay centered, howl at the moon if you need to. Again, I'm feeling that inner wolf energy, and I'm in Mexico right now. And gosh, it's full moon. I can feel it for a few days now. This one coming up on the 17th. The dogs are going crazy. People are acting crazy. It feels pretty potent. So if you're feeling that inner turmoil, that inner change, just know that you're in tune with everything. Thank you. It's not easy being this grounded, in touch with the earth, in touch with everything. So anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I will see you soon. All right, bye guys.